it's been a lot of fun, and just helping people. I've helped hundreds of people, and one of them I'd like to bring up right now, and he can tell you a story. Allan, come on up.
Okay, so want me just to go?
Yeah.
All right.
Terribly.
Here we go, Allan and Laurel B. We moved to Dallas in 2013. We lived all over the country, Utah, Florida, Nevada, New Mexico, and I'm alias the Milkman. David introduced me as that because I spent 30 plus years in the dairy business, moving all over the country. And, in this organization, there's tons of IT people, there's tons of engineers, there's doctors, lawyers, but there's only one milkman. So I am alias the Milkman, and Laurel, now this is something that she made me put in, just so you know that. She said, make sure you put in there that she's really the real estate goddess. Okay, she's been a personal assistant, a bookkeeper, a real estate professional. One of the things that she's most proud of is that she's a Red Cross certified pool instructor. A swim instructor, yeah, exactly. So she's done that for probably 15 or so years, and it's kind of her passion. So no matter what we do in real estate, she makes sure that she teaches kids how not to drown. In fact, there is one person in this room who is an adult who took some lessons from her, who was deathly afraid of the water before, and I think they swim a lot better and feel much prouder of themselves now. So anyway, we have 4 children. I'm not going to point them out. Yeah. 4 children, 8 plus grandchildren. When I say plus, we have another one coming in November. And then Laurel loves dogs, so we have 5 granddogs. So how did we joined Lifestyles in 2016. So I should remember this, but the reason why we joined Lifestyles is we had met with our financial advisor, right? And they gave us a crap plan. Okay, you guys are doing great. You're saving 21% of your income. You've got a lot of money in your IRA and your 401k. You know what? If you'll work just a little bit longer, and you save a little bit more, we'll make sure that you don't run out of money before you die. We thought, okay, that's stupid. So Laurel had been listening to Dell on the radio and Steve, and she said, you know what, we're going to go to this free 2-hour seminar that I talked about, that she had heard about on the radio. So anyway, when we first got married, now these pictures are not doctored in any way. And you can tell we look exactly the same as we did.
Man, that looks like a Sonny and Cher video or something.
That's a few years ago. That one is a few years ago. But when we first got married, we bought a house, but the house had a basement apartment. So that kind of helped us get our start. We both grew up in homes that had basement apartments. Our parents had, so that was a way for them to earn a little extra money. It was just something that we did. Okay. We had some single-family rentals off and on throughout the years as we moved, but it was really hard to keep those and manage those when we moved from Utah to Florida to Nevada and now to Texas. So let's see. There we go. Okay, so when we joined Lifestyles, we still had 2 single-family, and we did have one multifamily investment. Since joining, we have 3 single-family, 40 multifamily investments, 36 of those as passives and 4 as leads. We're KPs on 12 of those too. So,
if you're new, that means a lot.
A lot. Okay, so here's I told that story a little bit early, right?
That's okay.
So the financial plan was a bad plan. So we have now we have the right map. We have the ability to travel, visit our grandkids. Like I said, Laurel's with the grandkids, and because of the ability that we have, I could afford to jump on a plane and come home early to Dallas so that we could do this, and she could still take care of kids. She is watching online, so
okay.
whatever I say will come back at me.
If there's a tornado, it's okay. Cash flow is better.
Cash flow is better. Yeah. Okay, I wanted to transition my career sooner. Okay, how many of you have been in careers where you got laid off? How many of you have been in careers where maybe your job position changed? Your pay was cut. Okay, yeah. Many of us have been through that. I never was laid off, but there were at least 4 or 5 times in the 30-plus years in the dairy business when they came to me and said, Allan, we like you a lot. We want to keep you here, but we're going to not pay you the same amount of money. We're eliminating your job. So the very last time was about maybe 6 months before we had already planned to retire, and they came to me and they said, we're going to cut your pay by $30,000 a year. So...
That's thank you. Uh-oh. What?
This was after they told you to move from state to state
Yeah.
for several years?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see what that is. Let me jump over there. That's scary. Oh, it came back.
Okay, so
I'll fix all that, don't worry.
they told me they're going to cut my pay $30,000 a year.
Where's the clicker at?
We'd really like you to stay, Allan. And I came back and I said, what? Oh, the clicker, sorry.
Got to reboot.
Okay, they
fired
said,
from the clicker.
we'd really like you to stay, but we're going to cut your pay. And I came back to them the next day and I said, is there any negotiating on the salary change that you just gave me yesterday? And they said, yeah, we can pay you less. I thought, oh man. I'm glad that we started down this path because now we are on a fixed income. I just want you to know that. The problem is that fixed number changes probably every month and it goes up and up and up. So this stuff is great.
Awesome.
Okay.
I got us back.
Okay, so who has the clicker? You do. Okay, so we're going to talk about Xander Park Apartments. This was our third deal, I guess. 160 units, built in 1971. We purchased it in November for $15 million, $94K a door. Cash out of pocket was about $6.1 million.
Oh, you're going too fast. Slow down a second.
This was
No.
a $6.1 million.
I know he is. First off, for the people watching, remember, there's people from all across America. What part of Texas are we in right now?
We are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we are in Irving, Texas.
So this one is actually near Lifestyle's office.
Yeah, it's about 10 miles,
So
probably.
it's about 10 miles. Everybody understand? So the people in the room know that, but for the people say know that. Now, you just said we put together how much money?
$6.1 million,
6.1 million.
85 partners.
Hold on. Did you have 6.1 million by yourself?
Well, no.
Okay. So you had 85 partners. What was your lowest investor in this deal?
In this particular deal, we had several that were, I think, we had some at 10,000 or 12.5.
Okay, so just so you know, give me a hand for that. And the reason I love hearing that is we always say help out the little guy starting out, or maybe they're kids, maybe they're Aggies, they were a little slow in school, they didn't have as much money. You don't have to tell the whole story. But my point is this, typically the lowest investor in the deals can be 25K. So people always say, well, a bunch of millionaires did this. I can't do this. I'm a truck driver. I'm a nurse. What about me? How many people come up with 25K? So you can be a part owner. So it doesn't matter if you put in 25K, some people put in 100K, some put in 200K. If you make a 10% return, it's 10% on 25, 200, or whatever. Does everybody understand that? So I got to ask some follow-up questions. 85 partners, that's a lot of people. Were all of them here in Dallas, Texas?
No, there are partners from all over the country. Some in California, some in New York, some in Florida, basically all over the place.
Okay, so it's
Midwest. Yeah.
people from all over the place. Doesn't
Yeah.
even matter if you live in a communist state, you can still do real estate. We always say, live where you want to live, invest where it makes sense. Everybody with me on that? So that's why the Californians, their real estate's too expensive. They invested with the milkman here. Does that make sense? Now, here's another follow-up question, because people from out of state go, ooh, that sounds scary. He's all the way there in Irving, Texas. Of those 85 partners, How many of them do you think out of the 85 actually showed up and looked at the property so far out of 85?
I think there was at least 2/3.
Oh, 2/3 of them?
Yeah.
Okay, that's an
we had a
anomaly.
lot.
Well, you got to remember he was on
yeah.
the expo.
I was on the
with this-
expo bus tour.
Oh,
and we
he did a bus tour to
yeah.
his property. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cheating.
That's cheating, sorry.
But just
Hey, but it's okay to cheat in this business because we copy each other and we do.
Exactly.
We just do the right thing.
well, and just the reason I bring this up, normally when I get a lead up here, it'll go 2 out of my 80 people actually showed up. The point is you don't have to actually go there and look at it because he's going to send out reports of how the property's doing. He's going to be sending you checks. You can be very
Pictures.
remote. What's that?
Pictures.
Pictures, yeah.
Pictures.
Just that's what I'm trying to get across to people that are new. Okay?
Yep.
Now you can keep going.
I can keep going?
Not as slow anymore.
Okay. But not as fast either.
Yeah, exactly. Not too
So
fast.
somewhere, not too fast, not too slow.
Okay, faster than, like the slow people in the room, the Aggies, but not too slow that everybody else doesn't understand.
Got it. Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so this was $12,150,000 loan, right? Again, that's something that we get with our lender.
Your lender's in the
Ricardo.
room. Look at that.
Uh-huh.
Ricardo, wave.
Yeah, Ricardo, thank you.
Ricardo's a good guy if
Ricardo
you want
and
to know how
Paul.
to get a $12 million loan.
Absolutely.
He's from Old Capital. It's one of the vendors.
Yep, so we were this is a 3-year loan, 5.25% interest, 3 years interest only. So that means we had better cash flow because of that. Capital repairs. So this was a property that needed a facelift. I think, what is it you would call this? Is the ugly girl?
Yeah.
This was the ugly girl. Sorry. This is somebody that we bought and we put $2 million into her. Interior upgrades, heavy upgrades, exterior repairs and upgrades. Pool, the pool had not been swum in 4 years. We'll see some of the pictures here, but we put in pergolas, grill stations, a dog park, cedar patios, new mail room, drainage. So the drainage was terrible here. Every time it rained real heavily, the whole backside of the property, probably half the units back there flooded. And so
That's an amenity.
that was an amenity. Yeah.
Flooding.
Interior water. They didn't have to get anywhere outside.
Now, with all this stuff that you put into the property, I recall that there were some things you had to take out, particularly on that back building. Didn't you have to remove some things?
Some you're talking about rats and things?
Rodents. Yeah.
Rodents, yeah. Well, because of the flooding, there were a lot of rodents. When we took this property over, it was about 70% occupied. There were over 50 vacant units. So
So this was a fixer-upper.
this
That's
was
like,
a fixer-upper.
think of it like dating a girl, but it's a blind date, and you open up the door and you see her for the first time, and she has one arm longer than the other, and she has a beard out of her arm. He looked her in the eyes and said, maybe. That's the girl he wanted to date.
Hey, and it worked out.
Yep. Next.
Yeah,
There we
you
go.
got it. Okay, so the income on this is now $2,252,000. We took it from $120K a month in revenue up to close to $200,000 a month in revenue growth. Expenses $933, monthly cash flow $53,000, NOI $1.3 million. Cash on cash return overall 10.6%. Am I going too fast, or is this
That's
a good
okay.
pass?
So I'm going to break it down for new people. He just said a bunch of gobbledygook. You don't understand a word he just said. Blah, 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 blah. Here's what you understand if you're new. If you invested in a property, or let's say it's a bond, and you made 10% a year tax-free, who'd understand that? So that's the only number you need to understand. All this rest of this will make sense when you come to the seminar. I'll break it all down. For the new people, 10% return.
10%, okay. And we've distributed in cash flow $292,000 so far. And the property is for sale. Well, actually, it is under contract, and there's 3 weeks away from closing. So, yeah. So keep in mind, we bought this for $15 million, and it's under contract for $24,450,000.
Does that sound pretty good to y'all? You don't have to understand much about math, but that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, we bought it for 94 a door. It's now selling for 153 a door. So a pretty decent turnaround there. So you kind of see, it wasn't a bad property.
Right.
That's the thing, right? The previous owners just didn't have the money to infuse into it to do all the things that we wanted to do.
You brightened it up. That
We brightened it up. Yeah, I mean, it was good. And now this one isn't really before. This is more like during. But the units were quite old, and so we basically gutted them. You can see we tore. This was a kitchen. We tore everything out, and then this is what we finished with after.
Now think with the end in mind. Does the one on the right look a lot better? So one thing you're going to learn.
When he says the one on the right, he's looking this way, right?
Yeah. The point is, what you're going to learn this weekend is the model that Del Walmsley teaches us is best product, best price, service by the best people at a particular price point. You're not going to get high rents if it looks ugly. So that's why he fixed up everything, makes it beautiful, how he can raise his value so much.
Yeah, one of the biggest concerns that we had is, okay, everybody in the whole area was over 90% occupied. Why isn't this property over 90% occupied? And we decided if we were going to do this, we had to really do it right. We had to make some huge changes, and so that any person that came to this property would say, I have to live here.
Yep.
This is a great place. Okay, so the office was a one-bedroom unit. You can see that we basically gutted that and redid the office.
Yep.
Go ahead. Tons of stuff that we had to do. We talked about the drainage. So we basically put an 8-inch drainage pipe across the whole back side of the property so that anything that came down there was going to drain into the canal and not flood everybody out.
Was this the Kool-Aid man came through there? Hey, Kool-Aid!
Which one? Oh, you know what? That was actually a resident who thought they had their, I think, car in park.
It wasn't in park.
It wasn't in park, and they accidentally hit the gas, and so they ran through the building. So that was the repair work there.
So that was an amenity, easy access?
Easy access, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But we did a lot of things, trim trees, and so here's the pool. See how wonderful and inviting that looked, and the way it looks now. Just brightened it up. Made it a great place. Occupancy trends, you can see that it took us a few months to reach that, but once we hit up into the 90s, we're currently like, I think, 97, 98%. So, and it's just continued all the way through there. So these were the pro forma numbers, I think, Dave.
Okay.
So you can see I don't know how much time you want to spend on
Well,
this.
we only have a couple minutes, but
Yeah.
really what I always say, don't go through all the numbers.
Yeah.
New people in the room. You projected to make how much by year 2?
8.13%, $465,000. No, that was just the cash flow.
Right.
So the other part's on another slide.
Yeah, so what he's saying is, here's my actual projections. Here's what I sent out to my investors. We'll make 8% on the second year, 9% on the third year. But that's not what he really made. Who would like to see what he really made? Am I right?
Yes.
That's the next
Because
slide.
we are just into not even completed year 2. I think we're about 20 months into this.
Okay. So you're doing better than you promised.
We're
Here's the
doing
real
better than we
numbers.
promised, yeah.
Okay.
So the projected return is $6.5 million. Remember, we invested 6.1. So, and that was the projection after year 3. So it's 108% return on an investment in 3 years.
Now
but we did it in 20 months.
Remember, what did I say when I started my speech? If you get no apartments, you put 25, 50, 100 grand in a deal, you do no work, you get a check once a quarter, and then after 2 or 3 years, what would happen? You would double your money. So in simple English, guys, let's take 100K. You put in a deal. This is showing you got back your 100 grand that you put in a deal, plus on top of that, you make another $108,000 on top of that. Who'd be okay with that? Now, if you make over 100% return in 20 months, what's the technical definition in the industry?
Pee in your pants exciting.
Give him a hand. Now, he and his wife are doing all this work, putting this deal together. Being a lead investor is a full-time job.
It is.
However, his 80-some partners, could you explain to the new people out there, say they put money in a deal like this, how much work did they do?
0.
Who likes that?
Well, they did have to fill out the paperwork.
That's true.
And they did have to send the money in.
That's true. And they read the reports maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Now watch this. How many folks in this room, because I know some of you might be investors in the room, how many people put money in this deal? If you're an actual investor, raise your hands up high. I want the new people to see that. So these people all love him right now. Why? Because they just doubled their money. Okay? The man delivered. The milkman delivered. The
milkman delivers.
There you go. Give him a hand. And that's why when you're new, that 8-10% are great, tax-free income. Yeah, I agree. Woo! Right? It's that doubling your money is what's going to get you retirement. You take that return, that 108% return, with whatever amount of money you have right now, you new people, in your IRA, your TSP, your 401k, 50 grand, 100 grand, $500,000, it doesn't matter. And in 20 months, double everything you have. You did more in the deal that he just did than you did at 30 years working at your job. Am I right? Is that not life-changing? Give him a hand again, because that is huge. All right.
Okay. So how did we increase the NOI? We kind of talked about that.
Yep.
Massive rehab. We increased the occupancy. We increased the rents. We took care of the residents, and we created a community that they're proud to live in. This has a lot of open space. You've seen a couple of the pictures, but the pool was the focal point of the property. It's right by the office. And who in their right mind is going to want to live there when they saw the first pool, right? But now they come and it's like, okay, this is kind of cool. This is a beautiful area. There's a playground, there's a pool, there's a grilling station and a pergola, and then another part of the property there's a sports court and another pergola and grill, and in the back side of the property now that nobody wanted to live in, there's a dog park and another grill and pergola back there too. So it's just turned into a great place. So we cut expenses and we followed the LU map. You know, that's the whole key, right? We talked about copying or cheating. Well, we cheat off of each other.
We open our books to each other, yep.
Yeah, we all share our books with each other and ideas, and all the things that we did here aren't necessarily our ideas, you know. We had some ideas, but a lot of this stuff we got from everybody else. So thank you to everybody else that we were a partner in. You know, we invested with Meredith and Brian Sifford, and I think I was probably one of the guys that whenever they saw me call, I was one of those passive investors that always had questions. And I'm not sure that they appreciated all those questions, but they were always so kind to answer them. So thank you very much for that.
So you remember when you came to my seminar years ago? And
Yeah.
since then, he brought like every relative he knows to my seminar. He keeps bringing them different. You must have 40 of them. You must be.
Yeah, when we first joined, it was like, okay, we're going to go to the seminar, and we are not going to buy any books or tapes. We're not going to do anything like that. We're going to come, we're going to listen. And then once we joined, it's like, okay, now don't tell anybody that we joined this cult. Don't tell anybody. And so after a few months, though, we started telling everybody.
Yep.
And we've had great success of getting.
Really quick, guys, what is my job? To ruin your
life-changing.
career.
And you did. Thank you for ruining
But
my
not
career.
only that, if you remember, I said I'm going to ruin your career in 5 years or less, because that's my goal, and you would end up in rehab. See?
Massive.
Now he's massively in rehab.
Massive rehab.
He's like a crack hoe.
Yep.
Hoe like a...
Yeah, I got you.
Just making
I got
sure.
you. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Don't read into that. All right.
All right, so how has lifestyles changed your life? We've gained a lot of great friends and made a little well, maybe a lot of money along the way. We're able to get our 3 living children, 2 of Laurel's brothers, her dad, sons-in-laws, so many friends and other relatives to join LU, and they're all in deals and they're all making money. So that's really the benefit. We always make sure we tell people, this is not multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
This is, we don't get a dime for if you come and join. But we do get a lot of pleasure and satisfaction by seeing them come in and repeat and be able to put themselves in a better financial position. So,
Yep. Cool.
so this is kids, spouses, brothers, blah, blah, blah. And the most important people are the grandkids. I don't know if you've ever heard, Zig Ziglar has a great quote. He said, if I would have known how great grandchildren were, I would have been a lot nicer to their parents.
That's funny.
Okay, so short-term goals, find and close on a fifth property, continue to invest passively. That's something that we want to continue. We invested, I think 8 or 9 deals this year as passive investors. So,
But there's no good deals out there.
I know, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're always investing. Yeah.
Manage our time. We want to expand our portfolio. We want to continue as passive investors, travel more, give back, and just continue to have fun.
Give him a hand because he is giving back today. See this, the end result for me, the way you thank me, when I teach that seminar to you guys the first time, I get no satisfaction. Why? You haven't done anything with the information yet. It's 2 or 3 years later. When you double your money in one deal, you are so excited. How do you bless me? You come up after case study and you go, Dave, I doubled my money. I love that. Or you give back by volunteering, come up here and do a case study, go on the radio. Give back, inspire the next generation investor. That's how you bless any of us. But you know, he couldn't have done this without who? Your investors?
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing.
The investors, the most important part. You know, we have vendors, we have mentors, but if we didn't have investors, there's no way we could come up with that kind of money. But
Yeah.
I mean, we had Carolyn on our realty team, Don, Mike, Alex, vendors, Old Capital, we already talked about Ricardo and Paul, Dodson Legal, Ramey King Insurance.
Oh, he's over there.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
There's this lawyer. Lawyers are loud. Woo-hoo! Look at me. I'm a lawyer with a ponytail.
Anyway, there's so many great things that Lifestyles brings to the table to help us be successful. And this team over here is really what makes a lot of that happen. We couldn't do it ourselves. We were driving the other day in my new truck. Finally, after all these years, she let me get a new truck.
Was it a milk truck?
It was, well, there have been some milk carried in that.
Okay.
Yeah, there has been some, but we were just talking to each other and says, can you even imagine how successful this would have been when we joined? I mean, it's just incredible. So, I mean, I just have to thank David, I have to thank Dell, I have to thank Don, and all the people that came before us, right, that helped continue to make the map, create the map, and take us down that path.
Awesome. So I think we're at time for questions, right? So do you guys in the room have any questions? Otherwise, we'll go to the online people. There's one right in the front row. Yeah, give him a microphone because the people online can't hear otherwise.
Hey, good job, Allan. Question, so what percentage of units did you rehab? Did you do 100% or not?
The plan was to do approximately 100%, but we've done 120 of the 160 so far, but we're selling it early.
So in other words, they sold it. That's upside for the next guys, leaving meat
Right.
on the bone for him to finish the job.
I was curious, what is the 2,500? You got partway?
Yeah, you start
I
writing
got
this.
partway through that. Thank you for
Yeah.
bringing that up. So when they said they're going to take $30,000 away from me, I said, okay, thank you very much. I went into my little office and I had a whiteboard on there and I wrote $2,500. Well, $2,500 is the amount that they took from me every single month, right? 2,500 times 12 is $30,000. So they took $2,500 from me every single month, and that was just another motivation, right? Okay, here's another reason why I'm doing this, because I want to control my own destiny. I don't want somebody else in control.
Who likes that? The freedom to go to work when you want to, not because somebody tells you to, right? He works around his schedule now.
Do your investors need to be accredited?
The question was, do your investors need to be accredited? You haven't been to my seminar yet, have you? This isn't an old boys millionaires club. They do not need to be accredited. And I'll go into that this weekend. Didn't I say people can invest as low as 25K? They have to be what's called sophisticated. Come to my seminar this weekend. I'll teach you how you can be educated to be a sophisticated investor, so even regular folks like yourself can be involved. Would you like to do that? Are a lot of his investors accredited? Absolutely. Don't worry about that stuff, what it means. I'll explain that this weekend. That's gobbledygook. The point is not do you have to be accredited, because you probably ask that because you might not be. It's can I do this? And the answer is yes. And I'll explain how this weekend. Great question, though.
Allan, great facelift on the property.
Wait a minute. You're in the wrong spot.
Hey, man.
Where are they? I can't even see what we're
Thanks for the
talking
So
about.
Meredith is here and Brian's back there.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Brian.
Sit
Okay.
next to our friends.
What? He's moving
All of y'all
around.
are our friends.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Great facelift on the property. The office looked beautiful.
Thank you.
Who was your designer, and how can I hire them, please?
Okay, I am not going to give out that name, but it was our contractor, actually. People have asked us that question, and we have worked with him on a lot of different, well, ever since we got our first property. It was only 11 units, and he was kind of starting out. We were just starting out, and he came to us with some ideas about, hey, I think we could maybe do this, and he's pretty reasonable, but those are, I can't take credit. I mean,
In other words,
we may have
the
done.
next lead meeting, whenever all the leads are there, you drag it out of him. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Chris. Oh, wait a minute. You got to get a mic.
Chris knows. There you go.
Three-part question. Did you accept the pay cut? Do you still work there? And if you don't work there, how much notice did you give?
Oh, good questions.
Okay.
On his job, he's talking about.
So, let's start with the first one. I don't still, well, this is
Did you
probably
accept
out of
the pay
order. I did accept the pay cut because I wasn't quite ready to quit. This is during COVID, right? So I wasn't quite ready. We were just getting ready to buy this property, but we weren't quite there yet. So I took their money, and I worked for another 6 months. I did give them 2 weeks notice, and the rest is history. So it's been a year and a half-ish since I quit. Yeah. So honestly, we talk about, or Dave will talk to you about being real estate retired.
Yeah.
Laurel is very, very conservative, and so she wouldn't let me retire until we were way more earning in real estate than we were in my W-2 job. And even after then she was like, well, we get such good insurance. And why, how come you can't just keep working?
Guys, behind every great man is a woman telling him what to do.
Hey, that's kind of true. She tells me, well, I tell everybody that I can do anything I want to as long as I ask her first.
Who understands that? But that is the very common thing. Most of us in this room are fiscally conservative. We're frugal. Who agrees? So we want that comfort. A lot of members can retire quicker than they think, but out of fear, we hold back. Oh, insurance or this. And then after you realize, you're like, we're making $500,000 a year. I really don't care about a couple grand worth of insurance a month. Does it make sense? But
Yes.
you got to get that comfort level. And we
Right.
mentor on that.
Yep.
Yep.
Can someone under the age of 18 invest in a multifamily property?
Good question. My attorney back there can, I think, answer that question.
Yeah, how would an attorney answer that? Would he? Guardian or parent?
I would ask their parent to set up a trust and have the trust do the investment.
So there is a way to do it, absolutely. See, notice I deferred to the attorney, the expert in the room.
Wait a minute, I thought I deferred to the attorney. Now Dave's taking credit for that too.
We learn to surround ourselves with people smarter than ourselves. So here's one thing I want everybody that's new to understand this. None of us in this room did it by ourselves. We did it for ourselves. Surround yourself with a team. I am nothing without my team. Everything that you see, even though I'm up here on stage, there are 100 people behind me backing me up, showing me, teaching me, smarter people than me. Does it make sense? And that is why Allan and myself and all these people up here that are successful is because we form a team. We have operations consultants, we have mentors, we have agents, we have the vendors. It's a team approach. Does that make sense? So that's what we teach here at Lifestyles. Don't do it by yourself, but do it for yourself. Okay? Great question.
Yep.
Any more? Any online? We want to make sure we don't ignore the online people.
Yeah, we had a question online. How quickly did you begin distributions?
Question was, how long did
Okay,
you hold
so
back?
this was a value play, and normally on a value play, you do not make distributions for well over the first year.
Right.
However, we were able to do so much work very quickly. For instance, as I mentioned, there were 50 vacant units, I think 52. We had we closed on a Friday. On Monday, we had 3 contractors on site, and we were renovating 30 units. So we knew we had to get in here and do something kind of quick because we were bleeding money. So we actually started, I think, paying after 9 months.
So give him a hand for that, because those of you that are new, when you come to my seminar, I'm going to talk about 2 different type of projects we typically do. Most of our lead investors, which are people like him that put these deals together, do what's called a yield play. Just being mismanaged, just raise the rents a little bit, you make money from day one, and you'll start getting checks after the first quarter. This is a fixer-upper. So typically on a fixer-upper, till he fixes everything up, he can't rent it. So typically you won't get anything for a year. So this is a bigger fixer-upper. So when you come to my seminar and I talk about a value play, that's what he's talking about. But that's not the typical deal. He did a girl that talked back twice and has 2 black eyes, but that's okay.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, one more question. Way in the back, Gregor. You get to run, Don. Run. Okay, it might take 10 minutes with Don. Last question.
I'll
Go
give
ahead.
credit to my wife. I'm answering for her. She,
Oh, okay,
She
I
didn't
get it.
want to get up and speak, and she's
Okay.
way over there.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, what's this? Like you're
I
over
see
here,
over there.
she's over there, Brian's
Bethany's
back
over
here,
there,
Meredith's
Gregor's
up
over
here.
there.
I'm late to the party. The 18-year-old needs their pig parents to invest in that property and then put $1,000 to their folks for part of their investment. That's how an 18-year-old invests.
Oh, that's how they did
in
it?
Passive.
Okay. So they took a portion of it. Okay.
Okay.
There's lots of
Thank
ways
you.
of doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's give Allan and Don a hand.